Hey guys, Tarke here, and today I'm going to be going all through the developer manifesto for patch 3.13, and at the end I'm going to do a very important health announcement, just like I've been trying to do for a while but didn't know where to fit it in, but we'll talk to that at the end if people are interested in that. So, there's a lot of big changes coming in 3.13, so let's talk through the reasoning behind these changes. Ascendancies. So, in addition to reworking the Elementus, Inquisitor, and Deadeye, we've made several changes to every Ascendancy class. Rather than going over every single change, here are the general philosophies behind the changes. Improve interesting stats on Ascendancies, or removing less interesting or less essential secondary stats. So this would be like unique effects, but removing like generic increased damage or stuff like that. That's basically what they mean by something like that. This brings these Ascendancies closer to the style and design intent of Path of Exile's 2 Ascendancies, where noticeable passives have fewer stats but are individually more impactful and interesting. I can understand this as a philosophy. It makes it easier to balance because you have less things to factor in. It also makes choices a little bit more interesting. Where you're like, do I take this node? Like the example I give here is phasing. Do I take this node which just grants me permanent phasing, or do I take this other node which just gives me like a whole bunch of random stats? If you actually like hover over a couple of like different Ascendancies, there's a lot of things which just like have a lot of lines of text. Like this just has like a lot of lines of text, a lot of line of text. That's not, I mean, but this is the kind of example. I think what we saw from the revealed Deadeye, they got rid of the AoE and they just made this a gives 2 additional proj. So it's that kind of thing, right? They're just trying to like trim everything down so each node has a more like focused identity and is less like, here's just a bunch of stuff. So yeah, so whether or not this is received well when we see the final changes is a different matter, but that's kind of like their idea with that. So the example they give here. For example, Court's Infusion on the rated now grants phasing at all times and a 50% chance to dodge attack and spell hits. So if we just look at that node currently, that would be this one. You can see, yeah, this is a perfect example, just lines of text. They got rid of the LE damage. They got rid of the you have phasing while you have blank. Have phasing. It's just like you just have phasing. So yeah, they've reduced 5 lines down to 2 lines and buffed it up accordingly. So yeah, I think we can all understand and respect that. Rebalance the power of notables within Ascendancies. We want the choice between notables to be more flexible, with power moved away from generic bonuses. So, like, for example here, just increased LE damage. You know, that's the kind of thing they're trying to get rid of. For example, Master of Messel, which has had 1 additional Impale hit and its chance to Impale removed, as the passive granted too much power. That was this node, which, when we talk about just lines of text, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of text. So they're just kind of whittling everything down. While Inspiration now gives a high value of Aura effect in place of its movement speed, bonus focus more on Aura investment. So they're just kind of like re-theming things a bit. Rebalancing the power between Ascendancies to encourage players to re-examine optimal strategies. F for my boy. For example, the Trickster Escape Artist provided too large a concentration of offensive and defensive power. I agree, it's one of the best nodes in the game. That's why Trix has been so strong for so long. But yeah, it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of text, which they're trying to get rid of. And it gave you really good offense through the attack and cast speed, really good defense, gives you stun, gives you dodge. Like, it's just too good. Like, I love Trickster. I'm sad to see Trickster hit, but I can understand why you'd hit it. So yeah, they got rid of the chance to dodge spells if you have any shields being removed. That's a big hit. And the attack and cast speed per Ghost Shroud has been slightly lowered. So yeah, this is a pretty big double hit, but I can understand it. It does hurt me deeply, but I can understand it. The Slayer's Master Form node was seldom taken, wasn't providing enough power as it should, even for Frenzy Charge and Mercy characters. So now it grants +1 to maximum Frenzy instead of Charge Duration, which we saw. Reallocate stats to an Ascendancy passives and change the layout or bonuses of the Ascendancy, where it would make the Ascendancy more attractive to a wider range of character builds. For example, the Chaos Cold damage over time multi on a Cultist is now just more Chaos and Cold, so it's also good for hit-based builds. We also saw this with the Deadeye. We also saw this from what they showed over Cultist. They basically just move things around, so you've got more meaningful choices, not like, I've got to go through this 2-pointer I don't want to get to the 4-pointer I do want. Aura Stackers. As new mechanics have been introduced and players have optimized builds, characters using multiple auras have grown significantly in power, both offensively and defensively. These builds moved above our acceptable top-end level of power. The addition of alternate quality effects on aura gems, which added extra effects to your auras, were a large contribution to this. Yep. Cost of jewels as well, by the way. We've made a few radical changes here. Aura alternate qualities that granted you and nearby allies extra effects have all been significantly reduced. We believe in the general cases from playing solo, these will still be desirable. So, yeah. Small passives on cluster jewels, here we go, that grant increased effective non-cursed auras and increased 3%, so they've been halved in some cases, but it was needed. Aura bots, supports, they're still going to be really strong, but they were just too dumb. We've also adjusted the cluster jewel notable passive short commander and first among equals, providing too much accessible aura effect. Yeah, Impale. Right, I was expecting this. I haven't actually read this far, so let's see what they have to say. By using the Impale keystone combination, the Call of Steel skill, Impale is fine, Call of Steel's a problem, hopefully they only hit Call of Steel. Warcry-based characters could deal unreasonably large amounts of damage with a single hit followed up by Call of Steel. Agreed. The Impaler keystone now prevents Call of Steel from removing Impales. Oh, okay. So they've kept that interaction of abusing Call of Steel, but you just can't abuse it with Impaler. That's kind of interesting. For 4 seconds after you impale them, some type prevents the enemies being impaled again. This allows builds to retain some interesting interactions, prevents all damage from being completely front-loaded. Okay, so it's still powerful, it's just not as ridiculous. I kind of like that change. For all builds utilizing Call of Steel, the Lord of Steel unique duel provided 2 larger damage bonus from a single item. The Lord of Steel now grants increased reflect damage. Now grants 20 and 25, so it's been halved. Okay, so they've just kind of like hit the duel there. That's fine. Minions. Uh-oh. Ray Spectres and Golem minion builds usually outclass other minion alternatives, and are the most optimal mid-investment builds. We've made some significant reductions to their power. And buffed SRS. They haven't buffed SRS. I don't know why I said that. Ray Spectres now be monster level 72, so they've lost 4. Okay, that's kind of a big hit. So I was going to nerf their survivability. And in my most recent video, I was like, don't play minions that can die. And people are like, but Tarke, minions can't ever die. Well, people, I watch Bala, he complains about his minions dying every now and again, and this seems like it would make them die more often, so that's pretty yikes. Slightly lower monster scaling past 20. In addition, we've made minor changes to the They of Tull Spectres. I think those are the ones which is the big, like, whirlpool effect, like the spinny, grant reduced damage taken to allies. Yeah, okay. Okay, they seem kind of dumb. The Knife Throw skill used by single operatives is now considered a spell. Yeah, I saw some people doing some interesting things with stacking support gems. So yeah, both of those needed hitting. Carrying Golems and Stone Golems had their damage reduced at all levels, with Carrying Golems getting the more severe reduction as the power exceeded that of other Golem types. Amethyst Golem's passive in general provided fewer offensive bonuses to Golems. Ooh, so that's like a double hit to that build. It might still be okay. We have to wait to see what the actual numbers are, but yeah, that's pretty rough. The minion-related cluster jewel notables running claws renewal have had their powers reduced. Okay. Minions are always strong, so I'm sure they'll survive the nerfs. We've made buffs to the damage of Skelly Mages. Nice. The speed of Unearth. Ooh, that's actually really good for Detonate Dead builds. Oh, that's very nice. And the offering effect of Leash of Ablation, as though not powerful as... Oh, I really like this for Detonate Dead. That's nice. Improving underused skills while lowering the power of specific abilities also improve the power of others that haven't seen the limelight recently to bring them up to more competitive level. We've buffed more than 40 underrepresented skills, and if a particular unloved skill hasn't been touched, doesn't mean we've forgotten about it. Rather, with the numerical tweets alone would be sufficient to provide the experience the skill could offer. Trap patch one day? It's not going to happen. And we're intending mechanical change to the skill sometime in the future. Scorcher now has a base cast time. This is really nice. Scorcher has a mana cost of... Ooh, this is the big thing. The going down to 5 mana cost. And reaching... Ooh, that's really good. Scorching Ray might be decent. You still want to invest pretty heavy into cast speed, but it could be a build. Coblash now deals 5% more damage to each remaining chain. I've never played Coblash. I don't know if that's good. Now converts more Fizz to Chaos. Has that because it got taken off Deadeye. Frostbomb. Oh, they buff Frostbomb. That's interesting. Now, has added damage takes to 300%. Now deals a lot more damage at level 20. Now gains additional radius. Huh. Frostbomb could be interesting. I remember Octavian did a Frostbomb Ignite build once that was terrible. It would be a lot less terrible now. Other skill changes. Ursha now has slightly more variants of the distant spikes appear. So stop AoE overlap, I guess. The intention is to reduce spike explosion overlap. Yep. Okay, so Earth Shadow got a slight hit, and I guess it got a double hit because the Impale thing. Contagion had a small reduction to radius. I really don't like that. We don't know how much of a reduction, but I really don't like that, especially since Essence Rain doesn't look that great for echoes. If you watch my most recent video, I was kind of saying that I can see Essence Rain struggling but against 10 bosses. I mean, it will still be good, but that's a yikes. Especially since we're also seeing hits to Trickster. Ooh, yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe they could have just, like, hit Trickster, then kind of see where the dust settles on ED Contagion. But nerfing the radius of Contagion, like, Contagion's what makes ED Contagion feel good. Nerfing the AoE could be a real bit... Yeah, that I don't know if I like that. Flash Charging Critical Strike cooldown, they've lowered it from 0.2 to 0.1. That might make it decent. Yeah, could maybe be a thing. And they've hit Replica Nebulous, that was needed hitting. Alberon's Warpath, this was just too stupid, it's now gone from 50 to 80. Martyr of Innocence to Disintegrate. No one grant Ardidocial spells. And now grant the new Battle Mage. Oh, that was the new thing we saw in Quiz. Okay. Alternate quality changes. Arts coming along triggers on hit with reflected damage. Okay, that was to do with Hiltless. That's good. Divergent Plague Bear grants reduced Chaos Damage while incubating. Yeah, basically, if you didn't know, it had a thing, you just had it equipped, you press the button, you just reduce damage taken. Really good with Divine Flesh. Yeah, that needed changing. Enormous Connect Bolt, Enormous Plague Bear, and Enormous Scourge have been lowered and passing more in line with the other quality. Okay, fine. Far Shot. So they changed the Deadeye Sensi. Far Shot has been changed and now causes your projectile until 20% less. Up to 60% more. Yeah, could be good. Far Shot is on Deadeye and I believe Lionized Glare, and that's it. Yeah, I like that. Tailwind. Despite the change to Deadeye, Tailwind now grants 8% action speed from 10. Tailwind is broken. Deadeye has Tailwind scaling, so it will still be good for Deadeye. With Harvest going core, if people are getting like Tailwind on every pair of boots forever now, then yeah, nerfing it is good. Elemental Aegis effects. To improve the general strength of Aegis effects, part of adding Primal Aegis to Elementalist. All Aegis skills, such as ones granted by the shields, no longer have their recharge timer interrupted by damage if the buff is depleted. Okay, that makes them much, much more usable. Yeah, that's a really good change. So, to summarize, Ascendancies are getting some love, but because we're, like, seeing a stripping back of, like, just generic, like, again, going back to the example side of just, like, all of this, I would probably expect quite a lot of nerfs. I've had this conversation before in stream and it didn't make sense, but I'll see if I can make it make sense now. When you do, like, when you make a change to every build, then is it even a nerf if everything got hit? Does that make sense? So the kinds of things that you target with, like, when nobles have fewer stats, it's kind of like you're gonna lose fluff. You're gonna just lose like random little. I mean, they just like you're gonna lose just generic things, but the special thing will be better. But yeah, I don't know if that made any sense. I think I like this. I think we like this. Aura Stackers needed nerfs. They'll still be good. The Impale change needed to happen. The Spectre stuff, I'm not sure about. This I'm a bit iffy on. Spectres are always, like, insane, but wasn't Syndicate or Redemption Sentries... I watch other people play Spectres and don't play them. I think Redemption Sentries are, like, the OP. Are they still the OP? They hit the Syndicate Operate things. I saw people doing dumb stuff with that. Spectres will probably still be good. I don't like how the survivability's gone down. Golem's got the double hit because they nerfed the Golems and then they nerfed the Golem damage on Elementalist. That I'm a bit on. The Colossus change I'm fine with. Buffing underused skills is good. Yep. Earthshadow change needed to happen. The Contagion change I really dislike. I think that might like just kind of kneecap ED Contagion. The Flash Charge, it's whatever. It's cool, I guess. These were too strong. And yeah, everything seems kind of cool. So yeah, decent-ish. Dev Manifesto. So, important health update. And my voice is wrecked now, and that is part of this update. I've, for the last 3 months, had a weird ongoing thing with my throat where I can't talk for very long. And whenever I talk for very long, my voice gets really strained and I end up just losing my voice completely. If you go back and you watch the most recent Bay class, you'll notice that throughout the entire thing, I was constantly sipping water. I was rushed into A&E on, I want to say, the 27th, because my entire throat had swollen shut. It wasn't an allergic reaction. It was like a really severe infection. I've had a lot of throat infections ongoing over the last 3 months, but that isn't the cause of the problem. It seems like there's mechanically something wrong with my voice box, and then I'm constantly getting infections on top of that because I'm on immune suppressants for my Crohn's disease, which if you don't know, it's another boring disease I have, and I have to take immune suppressants as part of that. I had a camera down my throat into my stomach about a week ago, and they had a bit of a look around, but it's impossible to get my actual throat looked at the moment because all the ENTs, ear, nose, and throat specialists, have been wrapped up with COVID, so I just can't get seen by an ENT anywhere. I can't afford to go private, so it's just like this ongoing waiting thing. Literally right before league start, I'm going in for, I googled it on my other monitor, esophagus, esophageal manometry. It's a 24-hour pH monitoring thing. So yeah, basically the day before league start, I'm having a cable shoved up my nose, down my throat, into my stomach, and then it gets like hooked up to like a little machine that I take home with me, and then for 24 hours, it monitors like the pH acid levels of your stomach. One of the theories is it's maybe acid reflux, which is burning my esophagus and vocal cords, and that's what's causing this problem. I don't think it's that. It was something that my Crohn's specialist kind of managed to wangle to get me tested for. Because I can't see an ENT, nearly all of the tests that I'm having, they aren't tests to look at my throat. They're tests to monitor my Crohn's, but it kind of like, it ticks the box of, well, we might see something about your throat. So like the camera I had last week, it was like, we can't look at your throat, but because we have to shove a camera physically down your throat, we'll kind of get to see a bit of it, but because it's a different type of camera, they can't get a proper look around. It's an ongoing thing. I'm having constant tests and whatever, and the reason why that's relevant to you guys is it completely wrecks my schedule in terms of content creation. So as you know from Heist, I had to stop streaming like a month, not even. I basically stopped making content really early into Heist League. I'm not going to be able to stream League Start because I've got all this test stuff going on, ongoing. Don't know how long it will go on for. In terms of making YouTube content, I need to limit the amount of YouTube content I can make, protect my voice. And after this video, I'll be pretty hoarse for a bit. So yeah, apologies for the really inconsistent content. If you are interested and you want to stay up to date, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm pretty active talking about like health stuff on my Twitter. If you're not interested in that stuff, you just want to stick with the PoE stuff, you probably should have stopped watching ages ago. Then you just stay subbed to my Twitch and my YouTube, and when there's content, great. I will do my best to keep Bay class and stuff running throughout the league, but in terms of my actual like streaming of content, no idea. I actually just turned down a bunch of front page Twitch promotion just because I can't guarantee that I can stream at all. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to do any streaming for the first week or maybe even 2 weeks of the league. Yeah, because I'm then in hostel again on the 17th for crate stuff. So basically health is a bitch at the moment. That's also the monetization of this video wrecked. So keep an eye out. Apologies for the content, or lack of content rather. Decent dev manifesto. Also, let me know if you watched through to this point just out of interest, because I never bother looking at analytics. So yeah, I'm Tarke. Let me know what you think of this manifesto stuff, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.